The mining station Orion's Edge hung on the rim of the star system like a lonely rock. Smoke rose from broken towers and scorched metal. Humans moved quickly, repairing walls and helping the wounded. Captain Lucas Hayden ran from one damaged section to another. His eyes were sharp, his face set in lines of worry. He checked the communications screen again and again. No reply came from Earth or nearby fleets. They were alone. Riley Carter adjusted her flight suit and stepped onto the observation deck. The alien fleet floated in the distance, massive and black. Their ships blocked the sun and made the station look small. Riley gripped the railing and breathed deeply. She had flown into battle before, but nothing like this. The enemy was larger, stronger, and faster than anything humans had fought. She could see the energy weapons charging on their ships. A single strike would burn the station to ash. Anna Wells worked in the engineering bay, connecting wires and rerouting power. Sparks flew across the floor. The station's energy shields had been hit multiple times. Some generators were offline. She moved fast, fixing what she could. Sweat ran down her forehead, but she did not stop. Every second counted. If the shields failed completely, everyone on Orion's Edge would die. Ben and Claire, civilians on the station, huddled in a reinforced room with other families. Ben held Claire close. The walls shook with every distant explosion. He whispered words of comfort, though he was scared. Claire's hands were white on his arm. She looked at him with wide eyes. They had never seen war up close. Now, it was all around them. Lucas returned to the command center. His team waited for instructions. They had guns, small ships, and a few energy cannons, but it was not enough to fight the entire fleet. Lucas looked at the map. The aliens had blocked every exit. They believed humans could not fight back. They were wrong. Riley joined him on the map console. "They are moving faster than we expected," she said. Her voice was tight with worry. "They will strike here in 2 minutes." Lucas nodded. "Prepare the fighters, Anna. Keep the shields up as long as possible. Everyone else, move civilians to safe zones. We hold until help comes. We must survive." The first attack hit with a loud roar. Energy beams cut through the station. Walls melted. Smoke filled the corridors. Alarms screamed. Humans ran, carrying wounded and pushing supplies. Lucas and Riley coordinated the small defense ships. They darted between enemy fire, trying to hit weak points. Explosions shook the station with every failed and successful strike. Anna screamed as a generator went offline. Sparks shot toward the ceiling. She worked fast, rerouting power to backup systems. Sweat soaked her clothes. She refused to stop. Lives depended on her. She managed to bring the shields back online, but only for a few seconds more than before. The civilians in the safe zones prayed silently. Ben held Claire's hand and whispered, "We are going to get through this." Claire nodded, though she trembled. The sounds of battle were louder now. Windows rattled, metal twisted. The humans on the station fought, but the enemy was overwhelming. Lucas ran from one control panel to another, barked orders, checking defenses, monitoring every ship. He saw Riley maneuver her small fighter through a swarm of enemy drones. She fired with precision, destroying 3 ships before a beam struck her craft. She spun out of control, then stabilized and fired again. Lucas felt pride and fear at the same time. These humans would not give up. Hours passed. The aliens seemed confident. They sent more ships, pressing the attack. The station shook. Parts of it broke off and floated into space. Humans continued to fight, exhausted but determined. They repaired what they could, fired what weapons they had, and protected the civilians. The battle raged, and the humans held their ground. Lucas stared at the dark sky beyond the station. The void was empty except for the enemy, he whispered to himself. "We are not finished yet. Help may not come, but we will survive. We are human. We do not give up." As the station shuddered again, he saw Riley's small fighter dive through enemy fire. Anna's hands flew over wires. The civilians waited in fear. The humans were battered, scared, and tired, but they were alive, and they would not surrender. The first strike was just the beginning. They would fight, and they would endure. Survival was their only choice. The aliens struck again with full force. Energy beams tore across the station, cutting walls and scattering debris. Lucas barked orders. Riley, take the fighters and intercept their lead ships. Anna, keep the shields running. Everyone else, protect civilians and hold the walls. Riley jumped into her fighter. Her hands moved quickly over the controls. The enemy ships were faster, but she knew the station could not survive another direct hit. She shot at the nearest vessel. Her shots hit, but barely slowed it down. She weaved through fire, her face set with determination. Every move was a risk, but she could not fail. On the ground, soldiers and volunteers fired small cannons and guns at enemy drones. The weapons were old, some had seen decades of use. Still, humans were quick and precise. Each shot counted. Ben and Claire watched from a reinforced room as explosions shook the station. Ben whispered, "They will not get through us." Claire held his hand tightly. Anna's fingers flew across wires and circuits. Sparks flew as she rerouted power. One generator exploded, sending a fireball into the room. She jumped back and continued, ignoring the pain from small cuts and burns. She knew the shields must hold for as long as possible. Every second she bought gave civilians a chance to survive. The enemy sent a wave of fighters through the corridors. Lucas saw them on the monitors. He grabbed a rifle and ran into the hallway. He fired at the first wave, dropping 3 enemy drones before one hit near him. He rolled to the side and continued firing. His movements were quick and precise. Humans were small, but they were dangerous. Riley dodged a beam that could have destroyed her fighter. She fired a rapid volley, hitting the engine of a larger enemy ship. Smoke poured from it. She smiled briefly, then turned to help another fighter being chased. Her eyes were focused, never leaving the danger. The station shook as more enemy beams hit. Walls cracked and alarms blared. Lucas moved between command stations, giving orders and helping wounded soldiers. "Hold the line," he shouted. Humans were exhausted, but fear made them stronger. Every human on the station knew survival depended on courage and action. Ben and Claire saw soldiers guiding children and elders to safe zones. They followed, helping where they could. The station was small, but every human mattered. Every action, no matter how small, could save lives. Anna rerouted energy from broken systems to shields again. Sparks flew, but the shields held for a few more seconds longer. She screamed as a beam hit near her, knocking her down. Pain shot through her arm, but she got up and continued. Lucas saw her and nodded. She was extraordinary. The humans on Orion's Edge were extraordinary. The enemy commander sent a massive warship toward the station's center. It fired repeatedly. Walls collapsed, sending metal and rubble into space. Lucas grabbed the communicator. "All fighters, focus on the warship. We must stop it. Cannot let it hit the station directly." Riley led the fighters, dodging enemy fire and shooting carefully. Each shot was calculated. The warship took damage, but was still strong. Lucas coordinated from the command center, directing small human ships to target weak points. Smoke and fire filled the monitors. Humans were pushing back, but the enemy was relentless. Hours passed with no pause in the attack. The station groaned under pressure. Soldiers and volunteers were bleeding and tired, yet they refused to surrender. Lucas felt the strain in his own body but pushed forward. They were humans. Giving up was not an option. Anna worked tirelessly, repairing critical systems. Riley continued fighting, dodging, shooting, and destroying enemy ships. Civilians moved with soldiers, helping each other survive. Ben held Claire close, praying silently. The humans on Orion's Edge were battered, but they were still fighting. Every attack they stopped, every life they saved, was a victory. The aliens began to falter. Their attacks slowed, not because they were weak, but because humans refused to die quietly. Lucas saw an opening and ordered a concentrated strike. Humans worked together using skill, courage, and quick thinking. They damaged the enemy ships enough to push them back temporarily. The station was damaged, but it held. Humans were tired, scared, and hurt, but they were still alive. Lucas looked at the monitors and whispered, "This is not over, but we are still here. We are human. We fight until the end." Riley nodded from her fighter. Anna kept the shields running. Every human knew they had survived the first wave, but more was coming. The battle was far from over, and every second mattered. Hours after the first attacks, The humans on Orion's edge tried to catch their breath. The station was battered and smoking, but the worst damage had been contained. Lucas walked through the corridors, checking the wounded. He nodded to soldiers and civilians who were still moving supplies and helping repair walls. Riley returned to the observation deck. Her fighter docked and damaged, but functional. She watched the dark void beyond the station. Something strange had appeared there. A faint shimmer, like a ripple in space, caught her attention. It was unlike anything she had seen. Lucas joined her and studied the anomaly on the monitor. "What is that?" Riley asked, pointing at the faint light. Lucas frowned. "I do not know. It does not match any known alien technology. It might be a new fleet or a trap. We cannot tell from here." Anna entered the observation deck, still wiping sweat and dirt from her face. "The shields are holding, but not for long. We need help soon, or this station will fall." The civilians watched the sky nervously. Ben held Claire's hand tightly. He whispered, "Maybe this is help. Maybe someone came for us." Claire did not speak. She stared at the anomaly, hoping it was true. The alien fleet commander noticed the humans watching the void. He sent more ships to block any approach. His confidence grew. He believed no human help could arrive. His ships moved closer, preparing for another wave of attacks. Lucas studied the monitors. "They think we are trapped," he said quietly. "They do not know humans never give up." Riley clenched her fists. "We cannot wait. If that anomaly is help, we have to protect it. If it is a trap, we need to be ready to fight." Hours passed with no clear sign from the void. The humans repaired walls and weapons, patched shields, and treated the wounded. Soldiers moved swiftly, preparing for the next strike. The station was small, but human determination made it strong. Every human knew survival depended on courage and action. Anna ran back to engineering. She reconnected circuits and tested the generators. Sparks flew, but she did not stop. Each system she repaired gave the station more time. Each second mattered. The humans could hold if they were clever and brave. Ben and Claire helped other civilians move supplies. They carried food and water to safe zones. They did not fight, but their actions mattered. Every human on Orion's edge was part of the struggle. Every small act was a chance to survive. Riley returned to the fighters, keeping an eye on the void. The shimmer moved slightly, then disappeared. Anxiety filled the room. Lucas and Riley watched carefully, their faces tense. They did not know if it was help or a new threat. Every second of hesitation could cost lives. The aliens prepared their next attack. Massive ships hovered near the station, their weapons charging. Lucas gathered his team. "We must be ready. This will be worse than before. Protect the civilians, hold the walls, and fight with everything we have." The station shuddered as the enemy fired again. The walls shook, alarms screamed, and sparks flew from damaged systems. Humans ran through the corridors, carrying weapons, tending to the wounded and moving supplies. Lucas shouted orders. Riley piloted her fighter through enemy drones. Anna worked on emergency power reroutes. Every human moved with purpose and determination. Ours turned into a long night of fear and tension. The humans had survived the first wave, but the enemy was relentless. The shimmer in the void had disappeared, leaving only uncertainty. The humans could not wait forever. They prepared for the next attack, knowing that every second counted and that courage would decide their fate. Lucas stood at the observation deck, looking out at the black void beyond the station. He whispered, "We may be alone, but humans never give up. We will fight. We will survive. Help may not arrive, but we will not surrender." Riley and Anna nodded beside him. Every human on Orion's edge felt the same resolve. They were battered, scared, and tired, but they were still alive. And they were ready to fight again. The void shimmered again, brighter this time. Lucas, Riley, and Anna watched from the observation deck. Suddenly, a massive human warship appeared, coming out of the shimmer. It was bigger than any station or fighter, sleek and armed with weapons that glowed with energy. The humans on the station could not believe their eyes. Riley shouted, "Lucas, look at that! Help has arrived!" Her voice trembled with hope and excitement. She ran to the communications panel and tried to connect. The warship responded instantly, its voice calm and strong. Lucas felt a rush of relief and pride. All fighters prepare to coordinate with the incoming warship. Anna reroute targeting data to their systems. Strike together. He moved quickly, giving orders and guiding human ships into formation. The aliens were caught off guard. Their confidence faltered. The warship fired a volley of energy beams, hitting multiple enemy ships at once. Explosions rocked the fleet. Alien vessels that had been advancing suddenly slowed, trying to dodge the sudden attack. They had never seen human ships like this before. Riley and her team joined the attack, weaving between the enemy drones. She fired carefully, targeting weak points. Each shot was precise. The alien ships were powerful, but the human pilots had skill, courage, and the element of surprise. Anna worked tirelessly, coordinating shields and weapon systems. Sparks flew as she adjusted energy flows. Her hands moved quickly, rerouting power to the station's weapons and communication links. Every second mattered.
Ow.
The warship relied on her data to strike effectively. Lucas barked orders, moving from one console to another. Focus fire on their largest ships. Protect civilians. Hold the walls. Soldiers and volunteers ran through corridors, carrying supplies, weapons, and helping the wounded. The humans were fighting as one, small but strong. The warship moved closer to the station, its massive guns firing at the enemy fleet. Alien ships exploded, breaking apart and drifting into space. The enemy commander had not expected human reinforcements. His fleet was in chaos. Ben and Claire watched from a safe room. Their eyes were wide with awe. Ben whispered, "I cannot believe it. They came for us." Claire nodded, still trembling but smiling. Hope had returned to the humans. They had a chance to survive. Wiley led a group of fighters to support the warship. They hit alien ships from angles the larger vessel could not reach. Lucas coordinated their movements from the station, giving clear instructions and targeting data. Humans moved with skill and bravery. The alien fleet commander sent his remaining ships to counterattack. He did not give up easily. Lucas and the warship commander, a human named Elizabeth Reed, worked together. They planned a combined strike. The station's weapons, the fighters, and the warship fired in perfect sequence. Alien ships could not withstand the coordinated assault. The humans on the station cheered as more enemy ships exploded. Smoke and debris floated in space. Civilians helped the wounded, while soldiers cleaned the corridors for the next attack. Every human on Orion's Edge felt hope for the first time in days. Lucas looked at Riley and Anna. "This is our chance. Fight smart. Fight together. We can end this." Riley nodded and returned to her fighter. Anna adjusted shields one more time. Every system was ready. The warship fired a massive beam at the alien command ship. It broke apart, sending the remaining fleet into retreat. The humans had struck hard and fast, showing courage, skill, and unity. The station had survived, battered but intact. Lucas stood on the observation deck, watching the warship hover above the station. He whispered, "We are not alone. Humans never give up, and now we have shown that. The fight is not over, but we are alive, and we will continue to fight." Riley and Anna stood beside him, tired but smiling. The humans on Orion's Edge had hope again, and the tide of battle had begun to turn. The human warship hovered above Orion's Edge, its massive guns ready to strike. Lucas organized the fighters into a tight formation. Riley led the group, her hands steady on the controls. Anna managed the station's energy systems, keeping shields and targeting computers linked to the warship. Every human on the station was part of the fight now. The alien fleet had regrouped. Smaller ships darted around the station, firing at anything they could reach. Their larger ships moved slowly, trying to stay out of range of the warship's weapons. Lucas shouted orders, moving between consoles. Focus fire on their lead ships. Protect the station at all costs. Riley flew straight into the enemy swarm. Her fighter twisted and turned, dodging beams that could destroy it in seconds. She fired carefully, hitting weak spots on the largest enemy ship. Sparks and smoke erupted from it, slowing its advance. Lucas nodded, following every movement from the command center. Anna adjusted the energy flow, keeping the shield strong. Sparks flew from overloaded circuits, but she did not stop. Each second the shields held saved lives. Every moment gave the fighters a chance to destroy the enemy ships. She wiped sweat from her brow and focused on her work. The warship fired a massive volley at the largest enemy vessel. Explosions tore through its hull, sending debris into space. Smaller alien ships scrambled to help, but the humans were coordinated. Lucas and Elizabeth Reed, the warship commander, had planned the attack perfectly. Fighters moved in and out, hitting the enemy from angles no single ship could cover. Ben and Claire helped other civilians move to reinforced rooms. The walls shook with each explosion, but the humans remained calm. Ben whispered, "We can survive this. We have help now." Claire nodded and held his hand tightly. Fear was still there, but hope had returned. The aliens sent a strike team toward the station's central hub. Lucas saw them approaching. All guns on the corridor. Do not let them reach the hub. Soldiers fired from turrets while volunteers passed ammunition. Every shot counted. The aliens moved fast, but humans were faster and smarter. They predicted every move and reacted with skill. Riley took on a group of fighters threatening the warship. She twisted her fighter through enemy fire, taking down 3 ships with precision shots. She smiled briefly and dodged another beam. Her courage inspired the others. Human pilots were small in number, but their skill made them dangerous. Anna rerouted energy from damaged sections to critical systems. Sparks flew and alarms screamed, but the shields held long enough to protect the station. Lucas monitored every display, giving orders and keeping morale high. Humans were working together as one unit, small but strong. The alien commander launched a final attack on the station. A massive ship moved toward the main hall, firing repeatedly. Lucas coordinated with the warship. All fire at once, hit the weak points. Focus everything on the largest ship. The warship fired a concentrated beam. Riley and the fighters added fire from all directions. Explosions tore through the enemy vessel, and it broke apart, drifting into space. The remaining alien ships began to retreat. The humans pressed the attack, destroying as many as they could. Every ship that fell increased morale. The station had survived, battered but intact. Soldiers and civilians cheered, some tears mixing with dirt and sweat. They had fought together and survived.
Nice.
Lucas looked out at the battlefield. We have won this battle, but the war is not over. Humans fight, and we never give up. This is only the beginning. Riley returned to the station, exhausted but smiling. Anna collapsed briefly but stayed near the control panels. Every human on Orion's Edge knew they had survived something impossible. They had proven that courage, skill, and unity could overcome even the strongest enemy. The station stood, a symbol of human power and determination, ready for whatever came next. The alien fleet was in retreat, but the humans knew it was not over. Lucas gathered the pilots and soldiers for a final push. The station was damaged, but the human warship hovered above, its massive guns ready to strike. The humans prepared for a decisive attack. Riley led the fighters out, weaving between enemy fire. Her movements were quick and precise. Each shot hit its target. The enemy ships faltered, surprised by the humans' coordination. Lucas watched the monitors, giving orders and guiding the fighters. Every move was calculated, every action critical. Anna worked in the engineering bay, rerouting power to weapons and shields. Sparks flew from circuits as she pushed systems beyond their limits. The station shuddered, but the humans refused to stop. Each second she held the shields allowed fighters to strike more effectively. She felt the strain in her arms, but adrenaline kept her moving. The alien commander had one final plan. A massive ship, larger than the rest, moved toward the station. Its guns fired relentlessly. Lucas quickly relayed instructions. All fire, focus on the largest ship. Fighters target weak points. We end this now. Riley and the fighters moved with precision, dodged beams, struck at engines, and weakened the massive vessel. The human warship fired a concentrated volley, hitting the ship in critical areas. Explosions ripped through its hull, and it began to break apart. Alien ships around it panicked, retreating faster. Lucas turned to communicate with the warship commander, Elizabeth Reed. We push together now. Strike the remaining fleet. End this fight before they regroup. She nodded. Every move was coordinated, every strike timed perfectly. The humans attacked as one, small in number, but strong in skill and courage. Ben and Claire moved through the station, helping civilians reach reinforced zones. They carried supplies, guided the wounded, and gave hope. The station shook as beams hit walls, but humans moved with determination. Each person played a role. Even civilians contributed to the fight by keeping the station functioning and safe. The massive alien ship fired again, hitting part of the station. Walls twisted, and debris fell. Soldiers and volunteers fought through the chaos, pushing back smaller enemy vessels.
Allie
Dodged a beam that would have destroyed her fighter. She fired back, hitting critical points and slowing the enemy ship. Anna rerouted energy once more, keeping shields strong. Sparks flew and circuits overheated, but she held. Lucas coordinated from the command center, guiding every fighter and human weapon. They worked together, combining strength, skill, and courage. The enemy fleet could not withstand the human assault. The massive ship exploded, sending debris into space. The remaining alien ships scattered and fled. Lucas watched, feeling a wave of relief and pride. The humans had won the battle. Every human had contributed, from pilots and soldiers to civilians. The station had survived. The humans had proven their strength, courage, and ingenuity. Riley returned to the station, her fighter battered but functional. She smiled at Lucas and Anna. "We did it. They are gone." Lucas nodded, exhausted but satisfied. Anna collapsed briefly in her chair, her hands shaking, but she smiled too. They had survived against impossible odds. Lucas looked at the station, battered, but standing. He whispered, "Humans never give up. We fight until the end, protect each other, and we survive." The civilians cheered quietly. Soldiers and pilots returned to their posts. And the warship hovered above, a symbol of human power and unity. The humans on Orion's edge had won, and they had shown that courage, determination, and teamwork could overcome any threat. The battle was over. The alien fleet had retreated, leaving the station and the human warship floating in the silent void. Lucas walked through the command center, watching monitors and checking on his team. The station was damaged, but it stood. Humans had survived. Riley returned from her fighter, exhausted but smiling. She leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. "We did it," she said. Lucas nodded, proud but still cautious. They had won the fight, but the cost was clear. Soldiers and civilians had been injured, and parts of the station were destroyed. Anna moved from console to console, making final checks on energy systems. A spark still flew from damaged circuits, but she was calm. The shields held and the station was stable. Her hands trembled slightly from the strain, but she smiled. They had worked together and survived. Ben and Claire helped other civilians gather supplies and check for damage. They moved through the corridors, seeing the courage and determination of everyone around them. Humans had fought, and humans had survived. Every person on the station felt pride in what they had accomplished. Lucas called a meeting in the command center. Soldiers, pilots, engineers, and volunteers gathered. "We have survived against impossible odds," he said. "We fought together, humans and warship crew, and we have shown that courage and unity can overcome any threat. Today we are alive, and we are strong." Riley spoke next. "We protected the station, the civilians, and each other. This is what humans do. We do not give up. We fight and we survive. Every one of us made a difference today." The warship hovered above the station, a silent guardian. Commander Elizabeth Reed joined Lucas. "Your people fought bravely," she said. "They showed skill, courage, and determination. Humans will survive wherever they go." Lucas nodded, feeling relief and pride. The humans had proven themselves in the darkest moment. Soldiers returned to their posts, checking equipment and preparing for any remaining threats. Civilians helped repair walls, move supplies, and care for the wounded. Every action mattered. The station was alive with humans, determined to rebuild and survive. They had faced destruction and had won. Lucas walked to the observation deck and looked out at the stars. The alien fleet was gone. The void was quiet and still. He whispered, "We are human. We fight. We survive. No enemy can take that from us." Riley and Anna stood beside him, looking at the same view. Hope and pride filled the room. They had survived, and they had done it together. Ben and Claire joined them, smiling. "We made it," Ben said. Claire nodded, holding his hand. Humans had survived the impossible. They had defended each other, and they had won. Every person on Orion's Edge had played a role. Courage, unity, and determination had made the difference. The station slowly began repairs, guided by Lucas and the team. The warship stayed nearby, a symbol of protection and power. The humans on Orion's Edge knew they were ready for anything. They had faced death and had survived. They had shown that humans, even small in number, could overcome the strongest enemies. As the station floated above the broken asteroid field, Lucas looked at his team and said, "We have proven something today. Humans never give up. We fight for each other. We survive. This station, these people, our courage, it all proves that humanity is strong. We will continue to fight, and we will continue to survive." Riley, Anna, Ben, and Claire all nodded. Every human on Orion's Edge had survived the impossible. They were alive, they were strong, and they were ready for the next challenge. The battle was over, but humanity's story continued, stronger than ever.